The artist working on this manhwa has tweaked the artwork, so you might notice some differences in how the characters look, including Roman's hair color changing from silver to black, as some of you have already observed in the last episode. Now, let's get back to the recap. In the realm of swords and spirits, Roman harbored a belief that Kevin's self-amputation marked the arrival of a demonic entity into his consciousness. This conviction fueled Roman's determination to unearth and tame the sinister force dwelling within Kevin. The unfolding drama transpired during a gripping duel, a battleground where Kevin found himself entirely in the clutches of the demonic spirit's art. Kevin, his eyes ablaze with a menacing red glow, moved with an uncanny grace as Benson's strikes rained down upon him. The demonic spirit, a clandestine puppeteer, guided Kevin's every move, transforming him into a formidable force on the battlefield. In the midst of the chaos, Benson's attacks met with air as Kevin, under the otherworldly influence, skillfully dodged and countered with lethal precision. The demonic spirit whispered directives into Kevin's mind, urging him to annihilate his opponent. Kevin, fueled by a desire to be a more indispensable weapon for his leader than his counterpart Chris, grappled with conflicting emotions. In the crucible of battle, a vortex of thoughts churned within Kevin, feelings of inadequacy, unyielding loyalty to his liege, and a relentless drive to prove his worth. These tumultuous emotions became the catalyst for the emergence of the demonic spirit art. Kevin's eyes, once vivid, transformed into an ominous shade of red, and an ethereal aura enveloped him, signaling the fusion of mortal and malevolent forces. With an unsettling calm, Kevin charged at Benson with unbridled determination, catching the seasoned warrior off guard. Benson, a veteran of many battles, was shocked by the manifestation of a crimson aura surrounding Kevin. It was a sight foreign to him, a testament to the unpredictable nature of the demonic spirit's influence. Before Benson could muster a response, Kevin's blade, infused with demonic power, threatened to pierce through his armor. Despite Benson's attempt to evade the impending strike, Kevin pressed on with unwavering resolve. The demonic spirit's power coursed through him, and with a single, decisive blow, Kevin brought down his opponent. The crowd, including Chris, Flora, and Baron Lawrence, stood in collective disbelief at the spectacle unfolding before them. Kevin's transformation from a seemingly ordinary warrior to a vessel of demonic might was nothing short of astonishing. Having vanquished Benson, Kevin strode purposefully toward Roman, the orchestrator of this otherworldly journey. Kneeling before his leader, Kevin declared his return. Roman, recognizing the success of his unconventional approach, commended Kevin for a job well done. In that moment of acknowledgement, a triumphant smile adorning his face. Kevin's sense of purpose and belonging found validation. As the dust settled on Kevin's conquest, the arena witnessed the conclusion of another battle between Lawrence and Barco. With a resounding victory in all three matches, Lawrence emerged as an indisputable victor. Roman Dimitry, a pivotal figure in the unfolding saga, stood at the center of it all. His strategic maneuverings and unorthodox methods became the stuff of legend. Word of Roman's accomplishments echoed beyond the arena, spreading like wildfire across the continent. Tales of his exploits, though embellished with a blend of truths and lies, captivated the imaginations of people from distant lands. In the aftermath of Lawrence's triumph over Barco, a wave of speculation and opinions flooded the streets. Some onlookers whispered that Barco must be grappling with frustration, given the grand spectacle they had made before ultimately facing defeat. Others, however, asserted that Lawrence had been justified in their stance from the very beginning. Amidst the gossip and hearsay, a narrative emerged, casting Roman Dimitry as the unexpected hero in this unfolding drama. Rumors spread like wildfire, recounting how Roman Dimitry, seemingly on a whim, decimated hundreds of Barco's soldiers from the rear. The tale continued with a vivid description of Roman's prowess, narrating how he effortlessly erased Flair with a single, devastating strike. The prevailing sentiment now suggested that without Roman's intervention, Barco might have successfully planted their flag in Lawrence's territory. Roman Dimitry, once the dormant dragon of the Dimitry family, was now soaring into the skies, amassing heroic tales that captivated the collective imagination. As the scene shifted to the heart of Barco Castle, a contrasting narrative unfolded within the chamber. The weight of impending doom pressed upon him as reminders from the Golden Bank arrived, principal and interest demands that seemed insurmountable. Additionally, compensating for the loss of manpower in Homeros and deflecting responsibility from the mercenary guild added to the mounting pressure. Frustration etched itself on Baron Barco's face as he lamented the swift decline of his once untouchable status. Baron Barco attributed this sudden downturn to Roman Dimitry. The nobles, who had once fought for Barco's favor when it held the title of the Northeast Powerhouse, now acted as if Barco was invisible. The Baron believed that Roman's interference was the catalyst for this dramatic shift. As he reflected on the situation, Baron Barco realized that Roman Dimitry had committed a grave transgression in the eyes of aristocracy, an act that went against the unspoken rules of their privileged society. In the throes of this realization, Baron Barco saw this as the last chance to salvage what remained of the Barco family's standing and influence. A few days later, Baron Barco summoned a gathering of other nobles for a crucial discussion. Gratitude laced his words as he acknowledged their presence, though the air in the room was thick with tension. Cutting to the chase, the other nobles, uninterested in pleasantries, pressed Baron Barco to get to the heart of the matter. Baron Barco laid out his case. He began by reminding everyone that Barco's attack on Lawrence was rooted in a valid cause, emphasizing the crucial role that justification played in aristocratic circles, painting Barco as the aggrieved party with a legitimate cause for their actions against Lawrence. He appealed to the aristocratic principles that governed their society. Baron Barco sought to elucidate the underlying purpose of the war against Lawrence. He contended that the conflict aimed to extract retribution from Lawrence for the decisions made by their ancestors. Baron Barco asserted that the central government had validated this cause, substantiated by the dispatch of a judge to oversee the proceedings. However, frustration crept into his voice as he detailed how Roman Dimitry had interjected into the conflict without any discernible justification, resulting in the loss of flair due to a calculated ambush. Expressing his incredulity, Baron Barco highlighted a perplexing aspect of the warrior battle. Not a single warrior from Lawrence had participated. He questioned the rationale behind such a scenario, underscoring the lack of connection between the declared cause and the absence of Lawrence's direct involvement. In Baron Barco's view, Roman Dimitry's motives remained elusive, with no apparent cause for him to aid Lawrence. He underscored that the dissolution of the engagement between the Dimitry and Lawrence families left Roman as a stranger to Lawrence, devoid of any valid reason for his unwarranted interference. Baron Barco insisted that Roman Dimitry's actions had overstepped acceptable boundaries, a sentiment that resonated with others at the table who began to align with his perspective. Their collective agreement bolstered Baron Barco's position as he contemplated the next steps to rectify the situation. He saw a potential resolution by demanding the Dimitry family take responsibility and provide compensation, thereby addressing the financial repercussions with the Golden Bank. As Baron Barco pondered this course of action, the deliberations were abruptly interrupted by the creaking sound of the chamber doors swinging open. To everyone's surprise, Roman Dimitry strode in, injecting an air of tension into the already charged atmosphere. Baron Barco, momentarily shocked by Roman's unexpected presence at the table, now faced a direct challenge from the enigmatic figure. With a sinister look, Roman Dimitry invited Baron Barco to voice any complaints directly to his face. The narrative then takes us to Lawrence territory, where Chris is taken aback upon learning of Roman's intent to visit Barco. Concerned for Roman's well-being, Chris strongly advises against it, emphasizing that Viscount Barco is unlikely to let Roman off the hook easily. Roman, however, counters Chris's apprehensions, challenging him to consider the inevitable trajectory of their relationship with Barco. Chris, perceiving Roman as Barco's mortal enemy, suggests that avoiding a meeting with Barco would be the most prudent course of action. Undeterred by Chris's cautionary words, Roman asserts that the situation might have been different if he hadn't initiated the conflict. However, now that the conflict has begun, Roman believes he must see it through to its conclusion. He is convinced that Barco harbors a deep-seated grudge against him. With determination, Roman mounts his horse and informs Chris that, at this critical juncture for Barco, it's the opportune time to address the root of revenge. Despite Chris's shock, Roman resolves to face the impending confrontation alone. Returning to the present, Roman shares with everyone his curiosity about the cause Barco presented at the meeting. Baron Barco, visibly angered by Roman's presence, perceives Roman's apparent disregard for the difference in their social statuses. Addressing Roman as a commoner who hasn't inherited a peerage, Baron Barco scolds him for daring to ignore the nuances of aristocratic law. He proceeds to educate Roman about the intricacies of the Cairo Kingdom's rules, emphasizing the prohibition against interfering in a war without a justifiable cause. According to aristocratic law, Baron Barco explains, he presented a valid cause, obtained approval from the central government, and subsequently declared a territorial war against Lawrence. In response to Roman's seemingly dismissive attitude towards the established procedures, Baron Barco rebukes him, asserting that these regulations exist to safeguard the honor of each noble. Ignorance of aristocratic law, Baron Barco argues, is no excuse. In a stern tone, Baron Barco accuses Roman of bringing disgrace to the Dimitry family through his impulsive actions. He foresees severe consequences for the Dimitry family, consequences that arise directly from Roman's perceived transgressions. In the aftermath of Baron Barco's scathing remarks about the Dimitrys, the northeastern nobles were quick to criticize them, laying the blame squarely on the shoulders of their perceived clumsy son. Roman Dimitry, seemingly unfazed, calmly addressed Baron Barco, asking if he had said his piece. Feeling it was time to present his cause, Roman adopted a sinister expression that caught Baron Barco off guard. Roman's tone took a dark turn as he revealed a shocking truth to everyone present. He explained that initially, the Lawrence and Dimitry families had planned to be connected through matrimony. However, Roman was now considered nothing more than a disengaged fool in the eyes of those around the table. He challenged their assumptions, questioning why they thought the marriage was called off. Was it due to his reputation or his experience with women? Roman dismissed these rumors as false, choosing this moment to reveal a hidden and disturbing reality. The engagement was broken off because Roman had been threatened by Anthony Barco, the eldest son of Baron Barco. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room, leaving everyone, including Baron Barco, stunned. Roman continued, recounting a meticulously orchestrated trap during a social gathering at the Barco estate. Roman, once close to Anthony Barco, attended the party at Anthony's invitation. However, Roman fell into Anthony's trap, finding himself in the same room as Emily Barco. Anthony exploited this situation to coerce Roman into canceling the marriage with Lawrence, revealing a premeditated scheme aimed at separating Lawrence and Dimitry. The truth unfolded before them, and the dynamics of the room shifted as some present began to reconsider their judgment, wondering if Barco might be in the wrong. Roman, with confidence in his voice, asserted that once a weakness is exposed, it ceases to be a vulnerability. Baron Barco, flustered and disbelieving, dismissed Roman's account as nonsense, expressing disgust at what he perceived as Roman's attempt to cover up the truth. However, Roman anticipated Baron Barco's reaction and proceeded to disclose another reason for his interference in the war between Barco and Lawrence. Baron Barco, caught off guard once again, could only express surprise. Roman boldly asserted that Anthony had crossed a line by threatening one of Roman's close associates, Flora Lawrence. This shocking turn of events had led Flora to ultimately break off her engagement with Roman. As Roman fixed Baron Barco with a penetrating gaze, he challenged the Baron to deny this unsettling truth and urged him to seek confirmation from Flora Lawrence herself. Seizing the opportunity to turn the tables, Roman acknowledged Anthony Barco's deceitful actions and revealed his own tactical response. With a calm yet determined demeanor, Roman disclosed to everyone present that his interference in the war was driven solely by his strength, and it was not intended to bring harm to the Dimitry family. Instead, it served as the only form of revenge he could exact for the mistreatment of Flora. Addressing the assembly, Roman questioned their belief in whether he had a sufficient cause to involve himself in the war. With this revelation, Roman effectively dismantled Barco's disputes and established a cause rooted in personal vendetta and retribution. Baron Barco, visibly stunned by the turn of events, grappled with the realization that exposing Roman's supposed lack of cause was now a futile endeavor. Baron Barco, feeling the pressure of the situation, contemplated his next move. Recognizing that time was of the essence, he pondered the idea of stalling for time and exploring alternative solutions to salvage what remained of his family's standing. Despite his skepticism, Baron Barco conveyed his intent to confirm the truth at a later time, attempting to buy himself a temporary reprieve. However, Roman wasn't content with leaving the matter unresolved. He presented Baron Barco with two distinct options, each carrying profound implications for both families involved. The first option was a more straightforward approach, to conclude the matter by having Anthony Barco punished for his transgressions, treating it as a personal issue between Roman and the Barco family. The second option, more ominous in nature, involved allowing the issue to escalate into a full-fledged dispute between the two noble houses, Barco and Dimitry. Roman made it clear that a decision had to be made on the spot. Sensing the urgency of the situation, he issued a stark ultimatum to Baron Barco. If a choice wasn't made immediately, Roman declared his intention to return to his family and divulge the entirety of the situation to his father, Viscount Dimitry. Baron Barco, taken aback by this revelation, is now grappling with the gravity of the situation. He believes that it's crucial for the Barco family to steer clear of a war with the Dimitry family. If Barco were to engage in a conflict with Dimitry, especially when Barco is already teetering on the brink of collapse, the outcome could be the total annihilation of the Barco family. Baron Barco, initially proposing that Anthony apologize on his knees, was met with a resolute rejection from Roman. Roman asserted that the one who committed the offense shouldn't dictate the punishment. He declared that he alone would determine how Anthony would be held accountable for his actions. The scene shifted to the dimly lit office, where Anthony knelt, his posture reflecting the weight of impending judgment. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Anthony pleaded with his father to reject Roman's terms. Fearful of Roman's prowess and certain of his own demise in a judgment duel, Anthony implored Baron Barco to spare him from this fate. Baron Barco, attempting to console his distressed son, reminded Anthony of the inextricable link between his life and the fate of the Barco family. Expressing his frustration, Baron Barco urged Anthony to face the harsh reality that awaited him. He warned his son to brace himself for the potential loss of at least an arm, an ominous foreshadowing of the harsh consequences that might unfold. As Baron Barco left the room, Anthony remained on his knees, a poignant image of vulnerability and despair. The narrative then transitioned to the arena, where a crowd had gathered in anticipation of the clash between Roman and Anthony. The air was thick with tension as the adversaries faced each other. Anthony's visible fear manifested in trembling limbs and a heartfelt apology for the wrongs he had committed against Roman. However, Roman remained stoic, unmoved by Anthony's plea. In a decisive moment, Roman unsheathed his sword, signaling the commencement of the impending confrontation. Anthony, sensing the gravity of the situation, shifted from an apologetic tone to desperate begging. He pleaded with Roman to spare his life, promising to repay this debt for the rest of his days. The sudden shift in Anthony's demeanor shocked not only the onlookers but especially Baron Barco, who witnessed his son's vulnerability in the face of impending doom. As Roman stood with sword in hand, the arena became a stage for a poignant moral dilemma. Roman confronted Anthony with a pointed question, challenging the very foundation of Barco's position. He questioned whether Barco had any viable means to repay the substantial debt borrowed from the Golden Bank. Dismissing the notion that Barco's influential connections, even within the central government, could shield them from the consequences of their questionable actions, Roman took a step forward, declaring the imminent downfall of the Barco family. As Roman approached Anthony, the very architect of Roman's recent tribulations, he reminded him of the disrespect and treachery he had endured. Roman demanded a reason why he should spare Anthony's life. There, in front of the gathered onlookers, Roman made a resolute decision. He took matters into his own hands and, without hesitation, ended Anthony Barco's life. The unexpected turn of events left Baron Barco in a state of shock. Then we see a flashback. Roman's past experiences with his brothers painted a picture of relentless survival conflicts. Night after night, Roman had endured assassination attempts, emerging victorious by turning the tables and, at times, ending his brothers' lives with a ruthless determination. It was a life marked by a lack of compromise, a trait pointed out by his elder brother, Baek Joong-Hyuk. Baek Joong-Hyuk, the eldest among the 12 siblings, confronted Roman about this critical flaw. He asserted that Roman's unwillingness to compromise and show tolerance to adversaries would eventually become a significant problem. Baek Joong-Hyuk, in contrast, embodied strength and wisdom, not just in his power but in his ability to accept defeated opponents into his fold once they were vanquished. Roman acknowledged his elder brother's insight but stood firm in his belief that crushing those who posed a threat was his chosen way of life. It was a survival strategy honed in the crucible of the demon cult, where weakness invited destruction. Roman, with a determined glare in his eyes, asserted that he would continue to live by this uncompromising ethos. Returning to the present, the aftermath of Anthony's demise hung heavy in the air. Baron Barco, rushing towards his fallen son, found himself in the midst of an unexpected turn of events. Roman, unyielding and resolute, questioned Baron Barco about the supposed problem. In his eyes, the death of a criminal in a judgment duel was a commonplace occurrence, a stark reminder of the harsh realities of their world. In the heat of the moment, Baron Barco's voice thundered through the air, commanding his soldiers to take down Roman, driven by a surge of anger and grief over the loss of a member of the Barco family at Roman's hands. The soldiers, however, found themselves facing an unforeseen challenge. The sheer reputation of Roman as a formidable adversary left them shocked, questioning how they could possibly defeat such a powerful opponent. Unyielding, Baron Barco accused Roman of orchestrating this outcome from the very beginning. He pointed out Roman's lack of guards during the visit to Barco, suggesting that the pretense of seeking compromise was a ruse. In response, Roman, with a gaze that spoke volumes of determination and resolve, revealed that the decision to sever ties with the Barco family had been made the moment Anthony Barco threatened him. The tension in the room escalated as Roman expressed his inability to coexist under the same sky as the Barco family. With a swift turn, Roman faced the other nobles present, making it clear that the outcome they witnessed was a direct consequence of their actions. Emitting a purple aura, Roman issued a warning to those who still clung to connections with the Barco family, signaling that they would now have to face his wrath. Baron Barco, attempting to salvage the situation, questioned the feasibility of Roman escaping unscathed from these circumstances. Roman dismissed such concerns, boldly asserting that he would closely monitor the Barco family's every move. He vowed to continue his onslaught until they were brought to their knees. Roman, having delivered his stern message, calmly walked out, leaving Baron Barco to grapple with the consequences of their ill-fated choices. The narrative then shifted to a few days later, revealing Baron Barco's desperate attempt to escape the weight of his debts to the Golden Bank. However, his efforts proved futile, and he was discovered dead on a nameless hill. The once mighty Barco family, which had wielded significant influence in the northeast, met a pitiful and inglorious end. The scene changes to Dimitri's palace, where Hans spots young Master Roman. Curious, Hans asks Roman why he's out in the middle of the night, noticing that Roman is covered in blood. Roman, with a smile, explains that the moonlight tempted him for a nighttime stroll after a long while. While changing clothes, Hans expresses concern for Roman, noting that everyone is worried about him. Despite being happy that Roman is acknowledged, Hans is anxious about Roman's tendency to put himself in danger, especially with matters like war. Hans advises Roman to always be cautious, to which Roman responds by reminding Hans that he has said this before. Roman emphasizes that Hans is one of his people. Hans acknowledges this, recalling a previous life when Roman, as Baek Joong, had massacred countless enemies. Roman had a rule that allowed him to become a heavenly demon in that past life. Protecting those under him was crucial. Roman explains that a single person within his care is more valuable to him than hundreds of thousands of enemies. Roman concludes with a promise to do his best to ensure the safety of those under him.